And she was just about to start kindergarten.
The frantic search for 5-year-old Isabella Tennant came to a very tragic end today when she was found murdered in Niagara Falls.
And the loss is unimaginable for her loved ones and the community, who are all trying to make sense of a crime that has sent shockwaves across Western New York. Police are questioning 2 teens, one of them a friend of the family.
Isabella's family feels distraught and betrayed.
Extremely huge void in our family, because you never think that something like this could happen to you or your family until it actually does, and you never know who you can trust.
Five-year-old Isabella Tennant was so excited to start kindergarten in a matter of weeks that she had already packed up her lunchbox and put it in the refrigerator. Her backpack was filled with school supplies and waiting in her bedroom. She was loving and vibrant and enjoyed being with her family. Her smile was contagious. The spirited Isabella, daughter of Crystal Walker and Michael Tennant, lived in Cheektowaga, New York, a suburb of Buffalo. Though the couple were separated, Isabella would stay with her father a few days a week while her mother worked 2 jobs to make ends meet. Her mother worked for a sports bar and often had late-night shifts. If not with her father, it was not uncommon for Isabella to stay at her great-grandmother Sharon's home in Niagara Falls, New York, where the sports bar was also located. Such was the case on Sunday, August 26, 2012. Crystal went off to work while Isabella was playing. At some point during the evening, 16-year-old John Freeman came to the home. Freeman lived 3 doors down and was a regular visitor at Sharon's home, using her computer, sleeping in her spare room when his heat was cut off, and helping to mow the lawn. Sharon had a soft spot for many in need, and had formed a relationship with Freeman after letting him stay when his family's power had been shut off, especially on cold nights and when he needed food to eat. They were close enough, in fact, that Freeman would often just walk through the door to grab something from the fridge, or hang out for a while. He was considered a family friend. He brought his friend, 18-year-old Tyler Best, who also lived in Buffalo. Sharon, Isabella's great-grandmother, had apparently called Freeman to come help her watch the 5-year-old so she could go to bed sometime around 11 p.m. This wasn't the first time Freeman had been left to supervise Isabella, who he's known since she was a baby. The next morning, when her mother arrived after her shift, Isabella was nowhere to be found. After a search around the house and nearby, she was reported missing at 6:20 a.m. When asked by law enforcement, Freeman stated he last saw her around midnight. The police had very little to go on. It was as if she had just vanished. That is until Tyler Best showed up to the police headquarters around 9 a.m. He admitted to helping John Freeman dump Isabella's lifeless body into a trash can in an alley just a few blocks from her great-grandmother's home. Best led police to the location. She had been placed inside a garbage bag and put towards the bottom of the trash can, with a bag of trash placed on top of her. She was fully dressed, showed no signs of sexual assault, and there were no signs of any weapon having been used. After speaking with Best, investigators reported they believed Freeman killed Isabella with his bare hands, and that Best was only involved after she was killed and helped hide her remains. 16-year-old Freeman was arrested and charged as an adult with second-degree murder. Tyler Best was charged with evidence tampering. Deputy District Attorney Holly E. Sloma said when he was questioned by Niagara Falls police, Freeman was calm, cool, and collected, pleasant as he could be with the detectives. He spoke in cold detail of how he murdered, with his bare hands, a defenseless 5-year-old girl. An autopsy had been scheduled for the next day, the same morning the 2 suspects made their first court appearance. The autopsy conducted by the Erie County Medical Examiner concluded that the cause of death was asphyxiation due to mechanical obstruction of her airway and compression of the neck. Both pleaded not guilty and were expected back in court September 7th. Meanwhile, hundreds gathered for a candlelight vigil at Sal Magley Stadium, a minor league ballpark located in Niagara Falls. During the trial, Best stated that he felt threatened the night of the murder after Freeman woke him up to tell him what had happened and asked for help with disposing of the body. Best ended up pleading guilty to tampering with physical evidence and first-degree hindering prosecution for helping Freeman hide the body in a garbage can. Niagara County Judge Matthew J. Murphy III declared Best, who had no prior criminal record, a youthful offender. New York's youthful offender law provides an opportunity for those convicted of a crime when they are under the age of 19 to have their conviction replaced by a confidential, non-criminal adjudication and reduced prison sentence. This allows them to avoid having a permanent criminal record, which can have lasting effects on their lives. To be eligible for youthful offender status, a person must be between the ages of 14 and 19 at the time the crime was committed, have no prior felony convictions, and not have been treated as a youthful offender before. The law also protects youthful offenders from long-term effects of a criminal record by making their records confidential. Best was sentenced to concurrent prison terms of 16 months to 4 years on the evidence tampering charge and 12 months to 3 years on the hindering prosecution charge. Because he had already spent 13 months since his arrest behind bars, he could be immediately eligible for parole. As for Freeman, during his interrogations, it took 2 hours until he confessed to murdering Isabella. He said the night of the murder, after coloring with her, that Isabella would not go to sleep, and he didn't know what made him attack the little girl. Freeman initially wanted to use an insanity defense. After that was ruled against, his defense team claimed evidence produced by a pediatric neuropsychologist who had examined Freeman showed that he suffered from fetal alcohol spectrum syndrome, caused by his mother's drinking while she was pregnant, claiming the disorder impacted decision-making abilities. Judge Murphy, however, wasn't willing to entertain that defense. Both videotaped and written confessions were admissible, though. To many surprise, Freeman, who had once been a member of the Niagara Falls Junior Military Cadets, a program aimed at keeping kids off drugs and out of gangs, decided to plead guilty at trial. Freeman was remorseful in court, saying, "I'm so sorry for all the family," choking back tears and turning towards Isabella's relatives, saying, "I'm just sorry, I can't say anything else." On September 5, 2013, Freeman was sentenced to 22 years to life for Isabella Tennant's murder and pled to a lesser felony charge of tampering with physical evidence and received 4 years for that crime, which was merged with his prior sentence. He currently resides in Green Haven Correctional Facility in Stormville, New York. His earliest possibility of parole is August 26, 2034. Thank you for watching Justice Calls. Are you listening?